Right. Okay, I think we are live. So let's get to it. Hopefully, I change my brightness here as we get everyone involved. Went for a grainy filter today. Thought that'd be appropriate. Bex, you're in already. Let me see. So, today is the final in the little trilogy we've had this week of sleep consultants. So you're gonna be able to ask questions as well, and we're gonna feed those in, and we already have some already from Bex as well, which is gonna be great. So now I just need to wait for Sophie, and then we'll be able to get cracking. There we go. So let's see if it joins up. Hopefully everything works. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Sunday it's just started absolutely chucking it down. Oh, hey, how's it going?
Hello, good, thank you. And you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's just
Did I?
started absolutely throwing it down outside. So
We've been really lucky today. I don't know what's going on here, but we've been really lucky, touch wood. So,
yeah,
that up.
see how it goes. Amazing. Thanks so much for taking the time to join me as part of the trilogy this week.
Thank you.
How's your week been? Because I know we spoke on Monday.
Yeah, no, it's been good, I think. Long week. Like ages ago, actually, that we spoke. But no, I couldn't tell you what we've done. It's been a whirlwind. But we had a roast dinner today. That is probably
Oof,
where my memory goes at this
that is no,
stage.
that's very good as Sundays go. That's definitely one of the key components, I think.
How about
Amazing. So yeah, we'll just get straight into it, I guess. Best place to start is with how you got involved with sleep consultancy. So if you want to give everyone your backstory, that'd be
yeah.
great.
Oh, blaming my eldest, really, bless him. But he's free now, but literally it was hard work with him. So he came around and lovely, amazing. Everyone knows we've got babies. There's that amazing feeling. Kind of think, oh yeah, sleepless nights. That's what it's all about. We got to around the 4 month mark, and he was projectile vomiting. He was bringing everything back up. He'd lost lots of weight. He'd had this really bizarre belly button hernia, which is quite common actually. But it's absolutely massive on his poor little belly button. And he was just straining all the time because he had reflux and an allergy. We didn't
Right.
know any of this until fast forward to 5, 6 months where we got some treatment for him. We were seeing a pediatrician and all of that. And then everything seemed to calm down with that, but I was still awake every 45 minutes at night time. I was going round the town, just pushing my pram.
Yeah.
Baby, literally everything was thrown at me with this, and I thought this can't be right anymore. And everyone was saying to me, "Come on, it's fine, just keep going. Things will improve. It will all get better." And I thought it's 7 months now, and I thought this isn't working for me. At worst, I thought the dog. I was like half asleep, half awake, and I thought the dog was being eaten by a snake. And I thought, you know what? I think we need some more help here. I was that sleep deprived, and things had just changed for me. So yeah, I went to health visitor. Lovely health visitors. I saw a different one each time, and the advice wasn't consistent for me, and everything on isolation kind of worked. So bring bedtime earlier, or oh, just remove the bottle. Don't feed them to sleep. Don't do this. And I was thinking, well, what do I do then? Because that's my kind of go-to get him to sleep. So they just said, oh, just don't do that. So what do I do instead? Oh, just pat the back and things like that. And I was thinking, this isn't working for me. And I went to a sleep expert, a sleep consultant, and she literally saved all of us, all of our lives, basically. And I know people say, don't be silly. They can't save your life. But you know what? At that point, I kind of thought, um, that she did. We couldn't have gone on much longer. I wasn't enjoying having my new bundle of joy, crying bundle of joy.
Yeah.
um, yeah, and he just didn't want to sleep, bless him. So yeah, we got it all under control with a sleep consultant, and then the lovely Karen from Baby Sleep the Night said to me, "Shall we? I'm doing some courses. Shall we get together and have a chat about maybe you becoming a sleep consultant?" I was like, "Yes, please." Just going through that transformation where we were as a family, with the allergy, with the reflux, with the no sleeping, to the other side of it, within a few days where we were all getting our sleep back, and I had a happy baby. And that to me is the main thing. I had a really happy baby that needed sleep. And yes, I did it for me. Yes, I did it for him. But ultimately, when I saw that transformation for him as well, that was just amazing. And that's what's made me want to do it for other families, basically. So yeah, so that's my story really. A year later, I've been trained up, offering this service for lots of families, and the transformation again is just crazy. And I love being on that journey with them, and people trusting me as well, and saying, actually, we need a change, and something's got to give. And I'll say to them, right, we're going to do this, and people are saying, okay, I'm going to trust you with everything. In a few days, everything's changed for them. So no, that's my passion. I love it. I'm also a mental health practitioner for children.
Oh, amazing.
And I've always worked in that kind of field, mental health, public health kind of stuff. So I guess it's in my nature to help people,
Yeah, yeah.
and families. So yeah, and I'm here. I'm here
Amazing.
and loving it. I absolutely love it. I tell everyone to do it. Just go and do it. Train to be a sleep consultant. It's magical, honestly. So yes, that's me. Sorry, I go on too much.
No, no, no. It's all good. It's all good. It seems like a very because it seems quite amazing because now you're the third person we've spoken to, and everyone seems to have that very similar story of they're basically waiting until it's literally like the last day until until they actually consider sleep consultancy. Otherwise, it's like an exorcism or some sort of thing, something else that they have to try and consider.
You
Do
know,
you think is that a fairly common for like people that are coming to you? Do you feel that there's because it seems like there's obviously with a lot of things after you've actually had the baby, there's a lot of things that come down to a lot of parental choice, and yet there's not too much guidance because somehow you're meant to have all these answers. And so if you could just talk a bit about like when people are getting in touch with you, and maybe when is a better time to almost start considering it as an option naturally, as opposed to like a
yeah,
999 call, for instance.
yeah, no, definitely. Everything I've done, public health wise, mental health wise, I always like to look at the prevention rather than cure. And I am 100% on the prevention of any sleep problems. However, the system, the NHS, that support out there for expecting mothers, it's just not there. And I don't know about you specifically with your child as well. It's a daughter, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
Emma.
cute. She looks so cute in the pictures. Yeah, if we'd had known, or I had known everything that came along with sleep, I thought babies, we sleep like a baby. I thought,
That's yeah.
tell me when he's tired, he'll then go to sleep, and then he'll stay asleep, and then he'll wake up, and then he'll tell me again, he'll fall asleep in the high chair, he'll fall asleep in the pram easily. It just wasn't that picture for
Mm,
me. And for some it is. But if I'd have known a lot of the things that I now support other families with around that newborn stage, all those healthy sleep habits, really, I would have been in a better position when it came to that crisis point for us all, and no one
mm,
was, and we were just walking zombies. My husband was a shift worker as well, so I literally did every night, and I was breastfeeding, so I had to as well.
yeah.
I got to the point where I was actually, my baby just wants my boob. I could hang my boob up here, and my baby wouldn't care if it was me at that point. He just wanted to get back to sleep. Um, so yeah, everything I tried to strive towards really is getting that message out there for families when they're expecting, and the families that I work with, when it's not too late, but when we're getting to the other side, like you say, we're at that crisis point.
Mm.
I was at that crisis point, and sometimes we need to get to that point to actually make the changes as well. There's so much, don't do this for your baby, don't do this for your baby, do it this way, don't do it this way. And you talk to each healthcare professional and each professional within that health service, and everyone tells you something different. And then you read a website, and then you read something else from a sleep consultant, and then another sleep consultant tells you something different. And it's just like, ah. um, so yeah, if we'd all just gone along with that beginning, starting the process off at newborn with those wake windows, those early 45-minute wake windows, get your baby back down to sleep, the environment, make it nice and dark, even have some white noise, especially if you've got siblings in the house and things like that. Just sorting out all of those little things that we don't really consider. Well, I didn't. Other people might.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, it was very much similar thing of just it was trial and error, but almost trial and error. There was maybe a bit too quick sometimes in terms of like a routine would never act. Well, the problem is that obviously the baby's developing all the time, and
Yeah.
so even if you started out um with yeah, any sort of routine, then inevitably you're like, okay, great, this works, so I'll just keep doing this until it then doesn't work, and then it's that awkward kind of couple of weeks, even a month of like trying to figure out the right thing, and then suddenly again like 4 months is like massive thing of sleep regression, and suddenly like no matter what you try it doesn't work, so then you spend the next like month trying to figure out something else again, and it's just kind of trial and error, I guess, like quite a lot of the time. But it almost feels as well like if I was to compare it to like if people wanted to get in better shape, it kind of feels like there's a lot of it feels like when you're reading a lot of websites and stuff that while the message almost should just be like eat healthy and exercise, it
Mm.
feels like it has to be a lot more kind of dressed up as if there's some like magic tip. So, but even just doing that thing of like trying to make any sort of routine, it became like, oh, okay, well, if we try and make just any sort of routine, then maybe that's at least like progress, as opposed to like finding the like perfect routine like straight off the bat.
I mean, there isn't a perfect routine,
Mm,
and every child is different, and that's what I really struggled with mine. I bought a generic plan, a sleep
mm,
plan for my child, and it wasn't specific to my child, and it just
mm,
didn't work for my child. And I needed someone on the other end of the phone saying, "This isn't the way to go. Let's tweak that plan. Let's sort out how it's going to work for your child, because your child is not like any other child."
mm.
And that's why I think sleep consultants are very important, and they're an expert in their own field, and they can do that tweak along the way. I work with families for 2 weeks, and I literally will tweak each step, and I will make my plans suited to the families. However, we need to have a sort of a rough plan to make sure that it's going to be successful. So yeah, we might be able to keep in a certain bit that the family likes. We might have to change it a little bit because otherwise we're not going to be successful, but we can maybe keep something else in for them. And that's how I like to work. Whereas some generic plans would just say, I mean, for some families, that is fantastic, that generic sleep plan, and that works. So it's really dependent on the family, the parental preference, the child themselves, their child temperament. I have 2 children now, and oh my gosh, they are different. They are so different. Um, and yeah, it's a massive part that plays in it. And I think as a sleep consultant or somebody who's taking on the family, they should really be interested in the family and the dynamics between the families, the temperament of the child, the sensitivity of the parent as well. So you can really work with a family as well. So yeah, I mean, going back to that newborn stage, it can be that simple, that we just put in the right wake window, the right environment. I normally just start with a rough plan for parents to just work along and just tweak as they go, not to expect miracles. They're a newborn baby. They need to sleep, they need to cry, they need to poo, they need to feed. They're going to be up in the night, of course they are. So yeah, just treating them all individually, and I think that's the key to success. As well when it comes to sleep, as well as everything else. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question there. I kind of went off on a
No. No, this is the great thing about it. If we just go off on the tangents, it's great. Because, like, for instance, it's very interesting when, I mean, I've only got one child at the moment, so it's quite easy to think of everything in a silo, and it's quite then easy to do, for instance, think of a routine, or think like there's only kind of one point of focus. But I guess probably quite a lot of your clients are maybe coming to you when they've had a second child as well, because then it's like, well,
Yeah.
with the first child it was quite easy to fit in a routine because there's literally just there's one baby and they're going through this phase, but when you're trying to then sync up, and even having sleep regressions as late as 2 years, then obviously the knock-on effect of if you have a 4 month and a 2-year-old, I
And
mean, I can't imagine but
exactly, school and nursery play a massive part. So the oldest child is in school, and you have to go and do a school run. And you say you've got a 10-month-old who's maybe on 2 nap schedule around 10 and a half, 2ish.
yeah.
Can't let that 10-month-old then sleep past 3 o'clock, because then they have to go on the run to get the eldest child. So then where do we go with that? How do we shift things? So yeah, it's really it's like a puzzle, and you just get all these pieces, just put them all together and make it work. So but yeah, you're completely right. It's just not as easy when you've got the two, and you've got to work out that structure in everything as well, especially if you have a baby that doesn't like the pram, napping in the pram or napping on the go.
Yeah, because on the way to the school run or back, I guess.
Yeah, you can pop them in the pram and they may give you an hour's nap, but some babies, mine didn't like to nap at all. They do now in the car, but struggle really hard with both of them to really go off in the pram.
There's too much going on.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I'm a sleep consultant, but I can't train them to sleep in a pram. I can put the environment right for them, but I can't literally switch them off and switch them back on again when I want them. I've got to work with what I'm given. And then I might just add on a little nap in the afternoon, extra nap in the afternoon or something. But yeah, it's all tweaking. It's all making sure that overall sleep is good.
Amazing. So we'll take some questions. Let's see if my thing works. Oh no, maybe because I've put another. I'm still trying to figure out this the stories and then the questions and getting it all filtered in live. But I'll see which ones I can remember. But so around so Bex had a question. She's got a 5-month-old, and it was just a question regarding that transition from the classic go-to of rocking to sleep and starting to maybe consider other methods. The only one that I really know, apart from, so I think we did pick up, put down, but I wondered if there was any other kind of go-to methods that are kind of current at the moment for kind of getting towards that classic self-settling
Yeah,
phase.
there's absolutely loads out there on the internet. I use I have a couple that I use depending on the child. My main one is like a gradual retreat out of the room. So we're using ourselves as a prop. So Bex, if you want to stop that rocking, that is going to if I talk about sleep cycles, basically with a sleep cycle, children sleep for between 20 to 45 minutes, and within that time, that's their sleep cycle. And I have to do it like this, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's
This is
visualized. It's good.
their cycle. So if they start here and they're rocked to sleep or breastfed to sleep, or they need something to get to sleep at this point, they're going to go through their sleep cycle, and then they're going to come out here and go, hang on a minute, I don't know how to get back to sleep again. So they need to join that sleep cycle up. But here they wake up, and they can't get back to sleep again. So whatever they needed here, they want again here. So we can see a few sleep cycles being joined on together, like nighttime melatonin supports it, our biology supports the nighttime sleep, but then they've had enough sleep, they come to here and go, ping, wide awake, I'm here, what are we going to do now? And then mum, dad, whoever it is, comes in, puts them back to sleep, and then they do it again. So if you think for adults, we will always wake up after 90 minutes, all of us. That's just what we do, that's part of our sleep cycle. We may roll over at this point, we may go to the loo, but then we can go back to sleep again and just keep going through those sleep cycles. So if, Bex, if you're rocking your little one to sleep, you're going to likely see that. So we need to kind of break that here if you're seeing lots of nighttime wakes. And to do that, there are different methods. Like I said, I use a gradual retreat method. So I use voice presence as that kind of prop for baby. And then I just gradually move on out of the room. So that's my go-to. There's other ones that I use very specific to different situations. Again, there's loads out there. There's obviously ones that you can just room and just respond every few minutes and things like that. The one that I wouldn't advise using is, and this is my preference, this is what didn't work for me, this is what doesn't work for lots of families that I work with, but I may start with it sometimes depending on what I see, is the putting a baby to sleep drowsy. Well, getting them to sleep drowsy. So you're kind of starting a journey for them, and then you're saying at the last minute, oh no, you've got to do the rest by yourself. Some children cannot do it. They will get upset at that point, and then you're going to have to do something else to get them back to sleep. And it can be quite confusing for them. So I personally don't like that one. I rarely use that, to be honest. I would like them to self-settle. Yeah. It's tricky to say because I don't know particularly the situation for Bex, but yeah, I would advise doing some sort of self-settling technique where you're using your voice and your presence rather than actually getting your child a little bit to sleep or 3/4 of the way to sleep or a tiny bit to sleep. They've got to do it themselves to kind of break that, as I say, going into the next sleep cycle.
Yeah,
I think another question as well, but I can't remember.
yeah, I don't know why, but it's not showing up on my
Oh, but if you've got in here, can you just pop it in the comment? Because unless I can get it. Oh, this is my first live ever, so
Oh, let me see if I
I don't
can.
know how I do that, and I'm worried that I might come out. But if she's here, maybe she'll just write a little question for us.
Ask questions here. Wait, I will go and we will have a short intermission, and I will go steal another phone and do it that way. So give me 1 second.
Great. Oh no, she's here. She is here.
There we go. Very short intermission as promised. Let me see.
Almost down to song.
There we go. I do have it here. I think it's because I did two things. Here we go. Okay. Oh yeah. So yeah, Bex had a few questions actually. So it was, well, one was 5-month sleep regression question mark. Started waking at 2:30 a.m. Let me see the rest of the question. Oh yeah, that was any tips for that? Just see with her other question. Yeah, naps only whilst being held. Yeah, so I guess it's a similar thing. So if she's starting and she's so to break that cycle, I guess sometimes you can be lucky and they do 1 or 2, but then potentially can even get frustrated like later on because when we spoke to some people earlier, they have like heavier sleep. There's 3 stages of sleep. Is that right? If you could clarify on that, because I don't know.
Yeah, at the beginning, till about sort of 7-ish or whenever you put your child to bed, till midnight-ish is when that deep sleep happens. For the older children, it's actually when the night terrors are more prevalent. First half of sleep, and then the second half is more light sleep. Some even go into saying the early hours, so after 4:30ish is when even lighter sleep happens. I would consider anything after midnight, 12:30ish, as going into that lighter sleep, basically. And when most children can be roused easier, quicker. When I do plans, I try to be really, really limiting in what I offer babies from 5 o'clock. If we offer our presents and we sit next to them, or we offer, if we offer too much, we're very stimulating. There is absolutely no, your baby is going to, I don't know if you've experienced that. If they wake up at 5 o'clock, it's hard to get back to sleep again. Do it, but imagine showing up and then saying, come on then, go back to sleep. They're like, no, I've had my fun, I've had my sleep, now I want my fun even. So yeah, it's a first half is the deeper sleep, where we can just keep going through those sleep cycles, basically. With the naps for you, Bex, some people do try the pick up put down method. I don't tend to advise it after around 3.5 months. I've not seen much success with it myself. Did you say you tried the pick up put down? How old were you?
That's what we ended up doing, because we tried a few things. This must have been probably after trying to think. It must have been after the 4-month kind of sleep regression. So around that 4 or 5, probably 5 months. And yeah, that was the only one. But I think also because we tried a few other things that really didn't work and actually made things a lot worse, then that was probably one that she kind of liked in the end. Okay. I think I don't know, for her, she just seemed to respond after a while, like fairly quickly. She kind of understood, like, okay, you're still here, because it was literally, we just sat right there, and then you just put down and be like, it's okay, da da da, and then pick up, put down, da da da, and then she'd just go off. And then she seems to have, I mean, again, she keeps going through phases, but that's generally been our go-to since around that time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so that could potentially work. As I say, I don't tend to use it, but put her down awake and she will fight it and not. If I put her down awake, she will fight it and not sleep. Okay. Do I just sit beside her and persevere? Bex, in regards to a particular method, it might be good to get in touch with me and we can go through potentially a little bit more about that, if I can help you with that. What I would suggest is that she isn't overtired or undertired when she goes to bed. So I've already said to Bex, for a 5-month-old, it's 2 hours. So the wake window is 2 hours until your baby's ready to go back down to sleep. So for a 5-month-old, they're usually on 3 naps at this stage, 2 good naps, 2 good solid naps, and a shorter nap in the afternoon. I don't know if she's giving you short naps, Bex, or if you're holding her, she gives you longer ones. I don't know. But what usually we'll see is waking up at 7ish. If you want her to wake up at 7, you're putting her down to bed at 7. Try not to let it be morning till at least 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then start that wake window from there. So we really need to push from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock for a 5-month-old. So we need to see the 9 o'clock kind of nap. And then we're going to, hopefully, naps are good when held. Okay, so then she'll sleep till 11 maybe, and then you'll put her down at 1 again. So she's been awake for 2 hours between 11 and 1. That would hopefully, she's not undertired or overtired, so easier then to be put down. The issue, Bex, is that the same problem as what I had as well, and lots of families that I speak to, is that they only like being held. You put them down, and then after half an hour you think, oh, just hold them to sleep, and at that point they're overtired even more, and then they're fighting you again. There really is, if you're unhappy with holding her, as I would be all day, because it's hard work. It's actually
they're heavy. They get, even at 5 months, they get heavy.
I remember people say to me, oh, just enjoy the cuddles, and I love my cuddles with my babies, but just sitting there for 2 hours at a time and then 2 hours again, and not knowing when I was going to get into sleep again, and having that battle, it's really anxiety provoking, if we're honest. It can cause anxiety for some people. So I would suggest looking at a self-settling method, Bex, if you are happy with doing that. Depending on what you want to do, I'm more than happy to support you with it. Or there are lots of ways to do it online. The gradual retreat method is the one that I would use, most likely. As long as the naps are good, the environment's good, so black blinds, good wake window, a good bedtime routine, a good nap time routine. The nap time routine needs to be about 5 minutes long. And I would try to feed upon waking rather than before asleep. So if we're going to be looking at feeding for bedtime, so before bed, so they're nice and full for sleeping, I would advise bringing that bottle or breastfeed before bath time. So it'd be bottle or breastfeed, bath time, book, 1 or 2 books, and then into their sleeping bag or whatever they use, into the cot at that point. So yeah, if you're wanting to look at not having to hold and not seeing those night wakings happening or early wakes, then I would suggest you look to some self-settling plans with that. And you can get in touch with me, Bex, if you want some support with that.
Yeah, amazing. One thing that comes to mind actually is because there's obviously so much around like under and oversleeping. Is there a way to kind of save the day if if for instance early, like is it basically you completely write off a day and you have to kind of reset, and that's what the kind of training is about? Or if you find that they've had kind of a bad nap in the morning, is there any way that you can kind of save that day and kick them back into a similar routine?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just thought off the top of my head, because I personally don't know if Emma like suddenly has a really bad nap in the morning, then it seems to it throws everything off. But also, I'm then never sure. Well,
Yeah.
if she slept half an hour less, am I then doing like trying to aim for an hour? Like, does it work like that? If you could talk
It
just generally about that, that'd be really useful.
Generally, it's down to your child. I
Mm.
would always suggest the families that I work with that if you're going to mess a nap up, you should mess the afternoon one up. Let's get a really good
Ah,
consolidated thing, basically. If you know that you've got to go out and do some errands and you're hoping that they're going to fall asleep in the pram or in the car, and and they don't, and then you get home, it's like midday and they've not had a nap, so
mm,
they've not had a nap till midday. It's going to be, there's going to be consequences for the rest of
mm.
the day. It's not going to be massive. It's going to be resolved the next day, of course. But I look at it in like a 24-hour period. So anything that
Okay.
happens the day before, you can see the repercussions happening from there. So we just need a bit of catch up at some point if they give it to you.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I didn't know if obviously they're not very much like, oh well, I actually missed that earlier, so now I'll sit and be fine. Oh, we've got you on
So
the
I'm
loading. Oh,
an attractive still picture of me up right now.
okay. Maybe it's working now. If you're just joining us, we're going through some slight technical issues. Okay. Don't know if this is going to work. Let's see. Send request. Well, always getting stuck. Oh, there we go.
Oh, what an unfortunate picture to end me on.
No. I think it was much better than mine. I surely crashed afterwards, I think, for some reason, and started pausing. So everything, yeah, they should really fix that with ad breaks. Perfect. So let's go into I'm a.
Sorry, just to go.
Sorry, continue. Yes.
Maybe if there has been a missed nap or a shorter nap or whatever the reason, I would always shorten that wake window. So for a 5-month-old, you just shorten it by 15 minutes or so. So say that you've only had half an hour nap in the morning, you might want to shorten that wake window to 1 hour 45 just to get them through. They're going to be absolutely worn out by that point. So let's try and give them a nap at that point. So yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, perfect. Yeah. It obviously broke the internet. It's
yeah, with all my advice.
There you go. Let's okay, so we've got one more from username I'm a Butte, I guess. Any advice for a 9-month-old that wakes 3 or 4 times a night and then starts the day between 4 and 5:30 in the morning? Self-soothes for naps and bed though.
Okay. Be really interesting to know if they're good naps as well, because that could be an overtired, undertired thing. Sometimes having 9-month-old, is that right?
Yeah, 9-month-old, yeah.
Yeah, oh bless. Yeah, so having too much sleep in the day can cause issues with nighttime sleeping and obviously waking up again, or waking regularly through the night because they've had their sleep in the day. For 9-month-old, I'd look to around 2.5 hours a day, really, for 2.5, 3 hours for a 9-month-old sleeping during the day. More than that, they're not going to be tired enough at night time, going to be waking up, or if they're not having enough, then that can also cause night wakes as well. Again, for that, I would strongly advise that if there is anything that they're using to set a little one at night time, is that if it's a feed, then they bring that feed before bath time. So the routine would be feed, bath, story, bed. If they're having to rock or do anything like that, well, again, I'd look at some sort of sleep self-settling type technique if that's the way they want to go. Obviously, they don't want to be up in the night. Obviously, the little 9-month-old doesn't want to be up several times a night needing something to get back to sleep. So I would look at the nap timings. Also, if it's an early wake, I would, she has 2 naps in the morning, 1 at night. 2 to 3 hours in total.
I think it's 2 naps, but one is in the morning and one is towards. So one must be fairly early and one must be fairly late, as opposed to an afternoon one. Is that right?
Yeah, I would try. There's a bit of a change around that 8 months sleep regression as well. And what I tend to see families needing to do at this point and babies needing to do is just pushing those. I can just see something else. Yeah, sorry, I can just see around 9:30 being pushed to 10 o'clock. So a 10 o'clock nap for a 9-month-old might be more suited. And then a 2:30-ish nap in the afternoon, about 1.5 hours each nap, really. And then a bedtime of around 7 o'clock. And I think there's something else there as well. Tried to feed before bath, but she has reflux syndrome, it's worse in the bath. Oh. Okay, that can also be a reason again for waking up as well. The reflux, uncomfortable windiness that comes with reflux. I don't know if there's been anything tried for the reflux at this point. It's about managing that as well. I always suggest reflux families that we look at doing the feed upon waking, because when you feed before sleeping, it will cause issues with the digestive system, that you are going to be windy, probably not winded it all up. So feeding upon waking is really effective with reflux. And I did find that with my own as well, that kind of that feed, that sleep, feed, play kind of did help with the reflux side of things. Also difficult, I know, but leaving them the 12 hours without a feed is going to help them with their reflux as well. But obviously, if you're needing it to get back to sleep, then said to me, just don't feed them in the night. I think if I feed them about 10 times a night, because I don't know how else to get him back to sleep at this point. But if you're thinking that we don't know how to get him back to sleep, then we're going to have to look at some sort of self-settling method with that to improve that situation. So yeah, please do get in touch, and I'll see if I can help you some more with that again. Was there another question to that?
I think that was the end to that one, really, just waking up in the night. And then we've just had two more, and we'll make this the final one, because it's been already 45 minutes maybe with like with the little intermissions and stuff. And we will definitely have you back on a later date as well. So if I just kind of consolidate, because both these kind of questions are fairly similar. One is a 5.5-month-old and one is a 7-month-old, and it seems that basically they're doing quite well at nights, but it's naps in the day that are very unsettled. So is that again kind of more a routine that maybe is different for a nap as opposed to a wipeout at bedtime?
Yeah, so wake windows are the way to go for the 5.5-month-old. So around 5.5 months, you may see that schedule, the 3 nap schedule, kind of go into a more transition into a 2 nap schedule, and that may be where the difficulty is lying there with the 5.5-month-old. Around If you're looking at a 2 nap schedule, you'll be looking at around 9, half 9. Again, every child's different, but 9:30 and 2 o'clock for those naps for the 5.5-month-old. If you can't quite stretch them to that, and you're still working on a 2-hour wake window or 2-hour 15 wake window at this point, then you're going to want to squeeze in an extra little cat nap to prevent any overtiredness. So I would, if you're having difficulties with the naps, either push that wake window a little bit if everything's been fine leading up to this point, just push it a little bit and see what that gives you for that duration in that nap. Or if you've started off at 2.5 hours, then just bring it back a little bit and just play with those wake windows to see what's right for your baby there. If there is issues and there's never been issues before, then you may be looking at going into that transition to 2 naps. For the 7-month-old, I don't know what the specific question was there, but I wouldn't necessarily work on wake windows at this point. I would probably just put them straight on a 2 nap schedule around 9:30 and 2 o'clock. And I'd expect, or I'd hope for about 90 minutes for each nap.
Yeah, because at the moment she said that she was getting around 40 minutes to an hour at the moment for most of the naps. So that sounds like the first sleep cycle, basically, and then waking up and not being able to get back for the other 45.
Get back again. Yeah, check that environment again. Make sure it's nice and black, white noise if she's being disturbed by anything, and pushing that wake window may help as well. Or just setting that timing of 9:30 and 2 should help as well. But again, anyone, if I've not answered a question like specifically enough, it's really hard when I haven't got all the information. But just put me. I'm absolutely fine with you to do that, and hopefully I can support you a bit further as well.
Yeah, of course. That's what I was just going to lead on to. If you can give us all your, like, what's your website, give Instagram handle and everything. How can people get in touch with you if they want to follow up after this?
Instagram handle the other day, actually, and I said to you before. So yeah, I think if I'm right, is it hashtag baby?
It's the little @ symbol. I'll see if I can put it on here, actually. Maybe I can put it in the comments.
Okay, yeah, so it's at Baby Sleep the Night underscore Sophie, just as it's here. Facebook is Baby Sleep the Night / Sophie Wilkinson. You can email me, and it's sophie.wilkinson@babysleepnight.com. What else have we got? I have a radio session, Chippenham FM radio Q&A sessions. Any questions you want me to answer there, I'm happy to answer them there as well. That's on a Monday, Thursday and a Sunday. Have a look on my posts as well, because I've got some questions, a post there that you can ask questions there. Yeah, I think that's me really. But yeah.
Amazing. No, yeah. Thank you again. All that's left to say is basically thank you very much for taking the time and helping everyone out tonight as well. Get involved. Yeah, and hopefully we'll be able to more of these later on. I think we've got a few more chats next week with about Montessori, and basically we're just going to use this as a big excuse to yeah, try and find out all the stuff we probably should have found out before, but doing it now. So ready for the second one, right? The second one's always better than the first one.
Exactly. Hindsight.
Yes, that's it. Hindsight is 2020. That'll be the tagline, I guess.
Love me on.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah, and I think I really need to work on a sign off or something. But if there's any final bit of advice or anything that comes to mind, I think I'll leave it to you to sign off while I work on mine.
Well, you work on yours. Okay, yeah. Well, hope you found that useful. Get in touch if you need any more support. And yeah, sleep well.
Perfect. And if you miss anything, you can watch this on IGTV as well. So I'll sign off with that. Thank you very much, Sophie.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.